Assalamu alaikum. Today our topic is money in banking. Instructions have been given. You need to run full screen slideshow, and every slide is having a recording, so you need to follow it. Place must be peaceful so that you can listen it properly, and keep your notepad and pen with you. At times you will need it for writing. Do whatever you are asked to do in the recording set on each slide and listen the recordings attentively. Okay, objectives of this chapter is that you would be able to state the forms of money. You would be able to analyze the role of commercial banks. You would be able to discuss the importance of central banks. As far as Islamic integration is concerned, you know that our country's banking system is mostly interest based. It's interest based, and which is strictly prohibited in Islam. There are very few Islamic banks are in our country. Well, in number of Islamic countries, you know, commercial banking is not allowed. Instead, Islamic banking practices is being done. You know, before money came, there was a barter system. People used, you know what is barter system? People used to exchange goods for goods because they did not have any currency for it. So what do we understand by the money? There are a number of definitions which have been given by different economists. Well, in simple term, money is any item that is generally acceptable in exchange for goods and services. Like if you want to buy books, you want to buy stationery, so in exchange for those goods you need to pay the respective shopkeeper the payment, which is amount. Okay, you need to pay him or her money. And you know, economists define it something that serves as a medium of exchange, a unit of accounting, and a store of value. You know, in accounts, accounting is a business language, and in that also, you know, you deal with the transactions. If you have studied accounting, you must be studying in your present grade. So we deal with the payments. So that is why, you know, after the problem of barter system, people took out the solution, and which was that they should have money instead of exchanging goods for goods. Let's discuss qualities of money. The first one is durability, which means money must be durable. It's strong enough to be used over and over again. It will last for some time. Portable means portability, so it means money must be portable, that money can be easily carried away. Even if you are traveling from one area to another area, you can keep money with you in your pockets or anywhere. Money, the third one is divisible. Money must be divisible. It means that it can be divided into smaller units of value. You have 10 rupee note also, you have 50 rupees note also, you have 100 rupees note also, you have 5,000 rupees note also. Now we don't know if we are going to have 10,000 rupees, we are going to have 10,000 rupee note as well in future. You never know, because previously we did not have 5,000 rupee note. After some time, government decided, and then they have printed 5,000 rupee note. Why does it happen like that? Because money has lost its value. If you are spending 100 rupees, you don't know where it goes. Even the 1,000 rupees, things have become so expensive. Well, let's move on to fourth point. This means uniform. Money must be uniform. Uniformity means no matter when it is printed, if suppose you have 10 rupee note, if it will be printed, it's fresh, it's freshly printed, still the value of 10 rupee note will remain same. It doesn't mean if it's a fresh note. When you get Eid in Eid al-Fitr, the note is very, very fresh, but still if you are not having a fresh note, both 100 rupees carry the same value. Fifth one is money is limited in supply. You know, the Federal Reserve basically is in European country. We have central bank and we have State Bank of Pakistan in our country. Federal Reserve is in US. So they have a central bank which they have a central bank named Federal Reserve. They decide how much money should be in the market for circulation, and that is how they print. Can you see the picture in fifth one? Next to the text. Here the currency, the rupees are being, I'm saying rupees. The currency can be anything. It can be dollar, euros also. Every country prints their currency in their own area, right? So who decides how much money need to be circulated in the economy? That's central bank. In our country, central bank's name is State Bank of Pakistan. Federal Reserve, basically it's US central bank. Okay, sixth one is acceptability, means money must be accepted. Everyone recognizes and take money for payment of goods and services. People can easily see that the item is money, so they recognize it. There are other qualities also, but these are the main qualities of money. Most of the qualities I have told you. In this slide, we are going to discuss functions of money, which has been further bifurcated into two categories. First one is primary and the second one is secondary. Primary includes medium of exchange. Second, and in primary we have measure of value. In secondary we have store of value and we have standard of deferred payments. Let's discuss functions of money. You don't need to remember that which one is primary function, which one is secondary function. That's not an important. The main important thing is you need to remember the functions of money and the concept. That's fine if you don't remember which heading comes under the primary function or which comes under the secondary function. Okay, the first one is a medium of exchange. I have told you that money acts as a medium of exchange because it facilitates, it helps trade. Trade means buying and selling. If you are doing transactions, you are doing buying and selling, and if you have money, so it helps you to know the value of the goods and services which you are buying or selling. Okay, the second one is money acts as a unit of account or measure of value. This means it can be used to compare the value of goods and services and factor rewards. What are the factor rewards? Means factors are performing their services. In return of it, they get rewards. They are four factor, means they are four factor of production. How many factors of production we have? We have told you many times: land, labor, capital, and enterprises or organization. The reward for land is rent. The reward for labor is wages. The reward for capital is interest, and the reward for enterprises is, or entrepreneur is, profit. So if they know how much amount they are going to get it will be easier for them to perform their services. They know the value of their services, which is measured with the help of money. Okay, money also helps to measure the price level. You know what is the price of that shirt which you are buying from that particular outlet. Okay, other thing is it also facilitates accounting. It also helps calculations because long time back we used to have barter system, so it was not easier for us to do the calculations that what is the value of one goat. If you are giving your one goat in order to buy shoes, so it was difficult for the people. Okay, so it helps accounting, it helps calculation. In accounting you make balance sheet, trial balance, income statement, all those financial statements. So because of money, it was easier for the accountant to do his task. Money helps to set prices for the products. You can easily compare one product to another product in terms of prices, which one is cheaper for you, which one is expensive for you. Now money is act as a store of value. I told you, you can keep the money for the future transition. You feel that a very good company share is coming after 2 months, so you don't want to do the spend, you don't want to spend it, you would save your money with you for that investment, right? So this is how money links present and future through this function. It will not be deteriorated. If you did not have money but you had eggs, you cannot save eggs, as it's a perishable good, it go bad over time. However, money does not deteriorate with time, right? Clear? The fourth point is it acts as a standard for deferred payment. Deferred payment means for the later payments. Suppose you have borrowed an amount, okay, from someone, and you agreed that I'm going to pay you after 5 months the same amount, and both the parties get they get convinced. So this is how they make a deal. Okay, so we can defer the payment also. We can means postpone for the later time period. Usually, it happens that customer goes and takes loan from the banks. Companies take loan from the banks. They agree to pay the certain amount in installments. The main amount, they divide the amount in different installments, and then they charge interest also. They actually, they charge interest for the waiting period, and which is completely, discouraged. It's not allowed in our religion, but still, unfortunately, we are trapped in the vicious circle of interest. So they agree, the other party agrees that I'm going to pay you, suppose in the month of December, the whole amount. So this is how this is also one of the function of money, that it acts as a standard for deferred payment. Let's discuss banking. First of all, we are going to discuss central bank. Central bank is the parent bank of all the banks. It's a government owned bank. Who owns central bank? Government. It provides banking services to the governments and all the commercial banks, and the main thing, it operates monetary policy. Monetary policy deals with the money supply, how much money should be supplied in the economy, and what rate of interest should be kept in the economy. Example, in US, the central bank is Federal Reserve Bank. Then we have an example of the European Central Bank, the Bank of England, etc. Every country is having a central bank in their country. In Pakistan, we also have a central bank, and its name is State Bank of Pakistan. Now let's discuss the independence of central bank. Many governments, mostly all the governments, almost, they give their central banks the power to decide the rate of interest, that how much rate of interest should be fixed. And nowadays I think 9% is the interest rate. Previously, when we did not have that COVID-19, the rate of interest was very, very high. Then the rate of interest has been reduced. The reason was, because the economy was going down, people did not have money, they did not have purchasing power. So in detail, you are going to study this part in the later chapters. So the main aim of the central bank, they also have extensive knowledge of banking system, and they set the interest rate. Let's discuss the functions of central bank, the role of central bank. Central bank perform many functions. For instance, central bank acts as a banker to the government. Whatever tax has been collected, the government maintains its accounts in the central bank, and if the government has to make payment for the goods and services, they are using the account which they have maintained with the central bank of their country. Okay, suppose in Pakistan, this means that our government keeps the account with the State Bank of Pakistan, which is our central bank. Okay. Second thing is the central bank operates as a banker to the commercial bank. All the commercial banks. Give me an example. Let's discuss the example of commercial banks. Like we have MCB, we have Askari Bank, we have Bank Al Falah, we have Metropolitan Bank, we have Bank Al Habib, and so on and so forth. Many commercial banks are there. So what does all the commercial banks hold the account with the central bank to settle their debts, okay, in terms of need when they are short of cash. So commercial banks takes help of the commercial banks take they take help from the central bank. What happened, that many of the customers, suppose they are depositing in the commercial bank in their branches, and if they draw more cash, and if the branch feel that they are short of cash, so they take the help from central bank. Now other function of the central bank is it acts as a lender of the last resort. Last resort means the last shelter. It lends. Central bank has more power. It lends, and the commercial bank, you can think that it borrows. This means, I have told you in the previous point also, it lends to the commercial bank. Central bank lends to the commercial bank if they are temporarily short of cash. See, if the bank goes bankrupt, they are facing downfall, so the bank would be closed. Here it means if temporarily bank needs money, so they take help from central bank. Other role is it manages the national debt. Debt, loan, and national means countries. Okay. So what is the national bank? National debt. National debt is the total amount the government owes. With the passage of time, that government debt tends to build up. That is why we are facing issues in our economy, that we have taken loan. Our Prime Minister always he keeps pointing out that we have taken the previous governments have taken so many loans from IMF, World Bank, and it keeps mounting. Why? Because that in abroad they prefer interest, they encourage interest, they appreciate interest. So if we have taken 2 billion, after interest it will become 3 billion. Clear? So the amount gets added. So what happens? The government debt tends to build up. It is increased. So what happens? The central bank carries out borrowing on behalf of the government by issuing government securities, for example, government bonds, or it pays interest on these and repays them when they fall due. This means this is how it manages the national debt of our country. Suppose our State Bank of Pakistan is central bank. It is actually not okay. So if our country, Pakistan, they need to pay to the IMF or World Bank, so what do? The central bank pays interest on behalf of the country and repays them when they are due. When the payment is due, the central bank pays its part. It helps the country for the national debt. That means it's country's debt. Debt means loan. Now it also holds the country's reserve of foreign currency and gold. If we are doing import and export, if we are exporting, what do we get? We get foreign exchange, and if we have foreign currency also and gold, so who holds that? Central bank keeps foreign currency also and gold, and then they play their part with the exchange rate. Exchange rate, students, you are going to study in the later chapters. That's the another whole chapter. For the time being, you just need to keep it short and simple to understand that central bank holds country's reserves of foreign currency. It keeps gold with it, and it keeps the reserve of foreign currency. Another thing I told you, I have shown you a picture of that printing press, which was issuing banknotes, printing notes. So central bank is responsible for printing notes, and it also destroys the notes which are no longer suitable for circulation. Like long time back, we used to have 5 rupee note. So when it was out from the market, central bank first announces, and then it destroys the notes which are no longer suitable for circulation. It is also authorizes the minting of coins. It can also mint the coins. Okay, so it deals with all these things. They authorize for the minting of coins also. They are also responsible for printing notes. You know that because the notes get deteriorated, they get spoiled and all that. That is why. So the fresh notes must be. So they deal with all these things. The fresh notes must be required. So issuing bank notes is the main function of central bank. Implements the government's monetary policy. You know what is inflation? In simple, I will tell you, things have become expensive. The increase in general price level. Overall, the prices are very high. This means the inflation has been emerged. So what is the role played by the government's what is the role played by State Bank? Their main aim is to keep inflation low. They want to keep the general prices low, and they need to maintain inflation, that the thing should not become expensive very much. They control the money supply. They set the interest rate. They influence the interest rate. How? By changing the interest rate. Because if the people are taking loans, so they need to pay interest. So they need to see if they feel people are not doing very much, people are not borrowing from them, so they make the interest rate low. When the interest rate gets reduced, people start borrowing more. When the interest rate becomes high, people reduce borrowing. They feel that the loan has become so expensive for them. So the government can also instruct the central bank to increase or to reduce the money supply. They deal with that. And central bank also controls the whole banking system. They regulate the banking system. They provide loans. They provide rules and regulation. Even the holidays also, they inform that how many holidays would be given to the bankers and all that. Banks would be open for how many days, what would be the timing. So they supervise the banking system also. They regulate them. And another function is central bank represents the governments at meeting with other central banks. Okay, if they are dealing with the central banks of the other country, or if they are dealing with the international organizations such as International Monetary Fund, this means IMF or World Bank, so the central bank represents the government. This means State Bank of Pakistan, in our country, our central bank is State Bank of Pakistan, so it represents Pakistani government. Okay, let's discuss commercial banks. Simply, the main two functions is provided by the commercial bank is it receives deposit and it advances loans, it gives loans and it takes money from the customers and then they deposit also, and their main aim is to make a profit. Okay, they are performing all these services in order to make a profit by providing a range of banking services. They provide ATM, credit cards and all that to the household also, firms also, they provide loans also. So all these activities are being performed by commercial bank. Now, what is the role and importance of commercial bank? The very important three traditional functions of commercial banks I told you: they accept deposits, they lend customers for helping them to make payments. Okay, now there are two types of deposit. Okay, deposit can be made into two types of bank account. One is current account, sometimes also called a demand account or sight account. It's a very easy and immediate access to money. The main thing, we discourage interest. So if you don't want interest, so you can open a current account. Okay, so interest is not paid in such an account. The other type of account is a deposit or time account. It has two names. It is known as time account also, it is known as deposit accounts or deposit account also. If you have opened a deposit account with the bank, so you need to intimate the bank, you give a notice period to the bank that you want to withdraw that amount, and interest is paid in these deposit accounts. And the main purpose of customer to open a deposit account is to save money. How would they save? Their principal amount is also saved. Besides, they get extra amount which is known as interest, and it should not be taken. Okay, there are two ways of borrowing from a bank. Okay, if you are in need of suppose if you are in need of money, if a person needs an amount, so there are two ways he or she can borrow from a bank. One is the main form is overdraft. Now, what's the meaning of overdraft? Here it means suppose you have 1 lakh rupees. Okay, but you ask bank, instead of 1 lakh, give me extra 50,000 rupees also. This means you are 1 lakh belongs to you, and 50,000 belongs to bank. That's bank's money. But since you are in need, so the bank will give you that amount. They will give you an overdraft facility, and interest is charged on the amount which you borrowed, not on 1 lakh, but the amount which they have borrowed, that was 50,000. And the other way of borrowing is simply you have taken a full loan, that is 1,50,000 for a particular period of time. Here also interest is charged, but on the full amount of the loan, because the whole amount belongs to the bank, and the rate of interest, but the main point is interest rate is higher in an overdraft, while the rate of interest is lower when you are taking a full amount from the bank. Customer, but in that case, if you are taking a whole amount, suppose if you are borrowing 1,50,000 from the bank, in that case banks ask you form of security which is known as collateral when you're taking a loan. Especially big organization firms takes big amount from the bank, so they ask a security. Sometimes they keep their property papers with the bank. Okay, if bank will never take risk, if a person would be failed to pay the amount, the bank is going to sell his, suppose if he has given the property paper, the bank is going to sell his factory and will recover the amount. Okay, so bank lends the amount also. Okay, fine, this is how it works. The third main function is the bank also act as an agent for payments and providing money transaction services, which I have told you, so that people can receive money and make payments out of their accounts. If you have opened a bank account, suppose with the Mizan Bank, so you can receive money in your account also from your client. Okay, and you can make payment also out of your accounts. The bank also provides many services, for instance credit cards, standing orders, direct debits, through your internet banking, you without using ATM cards or debit cards. Sometimes you can use internet banking also, that is known as online banking, and there are direct debits also. Okay, so many facilities has been provided by the bank. Okay, this slide's complete explanation has been done in the previous one. Over here I'm going to give you a quick review. This means that there are two types of borrowing which can be done with the bank. One is through overdraft facility and the other one is borrowing a full amount as a loan. So this means in the overdraft facility you withdraw the amount which exceeds the amount which is present in your bank account, and the amount and the interest has been charged on the amount which you have borrowed. Okay, for instance, if your money is in the bank account and that is rupees 1 lakh, but you want to withdraw 1,50,000, extra 50,000 you have taken an overdraft facility from the bank. And the other one, if you take the full amount, the whole 1,50,000, it belongs to a bank and you want to take a loan of 1,50,000, so this means it will be considered as loan. And the interest, and the other point is, interest is lower when you take a full loan, but interest rate is higher when you take an overdraft facility from a bank. And the third main function, that it acts as agents for payments and providing money transmission services, for instance credit cards, standing orders, direct debits, and online banking. Nowadays, we are having coronavirus, so people do not want to go to ATM machines. They are not using their cards, so they prefer to do online banking. Okay, before I start secondary function of the bank, there was a flow given in the previous slide, like lenders, banks, and borrowers. Means a bank act as financial intermediaries between lenders and borrowers. Bank accept deposit from those who are with more money than they currently want to spend, and the bank lend it to those who are with an immediate desire to spend more money than they have at hand. You can say, like, bank channel money from lenders to borrowers. Bank take money from the depositors and then it advances to those people who are in need of loans. Okay, the other function performed by the bank, that is secondary function, we are going to discuss in this slide. Bank protect customers' deposit. If a customer is depositing his amount in the bank account, the bank is responsible to take care of it and not to misuse it. Okay, now the other function is agency services, like bank collect incomes from the customer's account. Bank collect income from the clients. Okay, if you are having an account with the bank, so bank collect income from your clients. Okay, and the bank deposit in your account. For instance, if you are having a share of a company, and if the share prices goes up, and company announces dividends, so it provides dividends to its shareholders. So if you receive the dividends, a bank is responsible to deposit it in your account. And similarly, the bank also deposits interest in your account. Now, bank also make payments on the behalf of the customer's account. Example, electricity. Bank also buy and sell shares. Bank also acts as a trustee and executor of the property and will of its clients. Right, now the other secondary function is financing foreign trade. How? You know that commercial banks buys and sells foreign currency. If you are exporting to the foreign country, so what we will receive? We will receive foreign currency, we will receive foreign exchange. So bank deals with that. Bank buys the foreign currency, bank also sells the foreign currency. Bank also provides safety lockers, and banks also provide various forms of credit instruments, for instance checks and drafts. Okay, now let's discuss the aims of commercial bank. The main aim of the commercial bank is to make a profit for its shareholders. Shareholders are those who have purchased the shares from the bank, so they become the shareholders of the bank. So if the bank starts making profit, so the bank is going to declare dividends for its shareholders. It creates, it builds the reputation of the bank. While another aim which can be conflict with the key aim of the bank, which is known as liquidity. Banks have to keep a certain amount with them, what is called liquid assets. Liquid assets are those assets which can be easily convertible into cash without incurring loss. For instance, short-term securities. Cash itself is the biggest example of liquid assets. While as far as illiquid assets are concerned, the example would be building, real estates, which takes time and they cannot be easily convertible into cash. So banks earn most of the interest by giving long-term loans. Long-term loans are those loans which have been given for more than 1 year. So that's why the bank charges higher interest. But if they are tied up with all the money in such loans, so they would not be able to pay out the cash to the customers who are requesting it. If all the depositors come to the bank and they ask and they want to withdraw the amount, so bank might not be able to pay to all of its depositors at the same time. So that is why bank has to balance profitability and liquidity. Of course, they want to earn a profit, but they need to be sure that there should be a liquidity with them. As you know, illiquid assets which bank is carrying, it has higher interest. While as far as the liquid assets are concerned, their earning is very low, or sometimes there is no interest. But the point is, the bank should maintain a balance between profitability and liquidity. Okay, now what is Islamic financing? As far as Islamic finance is concerned, in a number of Islamic countries, commercial banks are not allowed at all to charge interest on bank loans. As you know, Muslims regard charging of interest as a sin, and traditionally Islamic banks have provided finance for firms by lending them in return for a share in their profits. They say that whatever profit they are going to earn, they will share with the borrower. And if the Islamic bank has financed to the organization or big firms, so they do not fix the amount. Instead, they say we are going to share from our profits which we are going to earn. In Pakistan we have a first Islamic bank which was established. The very first Islamic bank which is the biggest Islamic bank in Pakistan, is Mizan Bank. I hope you have understood. Jazakallah.